Welcome back, my friends, to the build that never ends. What is up, daddy-os and dolls? I've been away for a little bit, taking care of things this summer, taking care of my cars, my real cars, and dealing with whatever. So here we go. When I left off, I was a little frustrated with this crappy fecal poop truck and needed to walk away for a little bit, and conveniently had to work on my own vehicles. And all the frustrations that you go through on building a model when you start dropping parts and losing parts into the abyss of the floor, and things just aren't working out. Sometimes it's good to take a break. At least for me it is. Get re-inspired. So I'm gonna take you through what I have done. I have my front spindles done. These are VCG resin disc brakes with the caliper. Made a spindle out of the 41 Willys spindles and got that all put together. Used a little photo etch bracket in there that attaches the caliper to the spindle. So I got that done. Been working a little bit of body work on the bed of the truck. Broke off one of the little chain hooks. Let's see if I can get that to focus in there. On the other side, but I got the little brackets there. Everything's pretty much ready to go. I just need to throw some primer on it, check where I need to fill it, and get that tailgate on there, get it painted and tailgated, and put a bed in it. I'm gonna put a fuel tank in there, battery in there, radiators in the back. So I'm filling up that bed pretty quick. The cab is pretty close to being done. I need to throw some primer on it, take care of some little roughy things here and there. The looky windows are looking pretty good. Been working this back here. Somehow it got screwed up and it's not straight, and that's been a bear. The other side looks really good. This side looks like poopy fecal crap. I got the floor panel put together, made a transmission tunnel that I just don't like, but I'm leaving it alone. So that's going to be the inside interior tub, firewall. As you can see, I rusted out the inside, and then I made my own door panels for the inside. If I can grab one here, show you what I got going on. They're not quite done yet, but you can see they'll fit down in there, and they'll have glass in it. Well, like window partially rolled up or something. I got to get my door handle and my window crank on there, and then that'll be that. But that's kind of cool. I don't know, seems to be turning out all right. It's going to be rusty on the inside and not finished, but the outside's going to be finished, but it's going to be weathered a little bit because it's a daily driver, so may have a nice paint job with chips in it and stuff like that. But getting it together. So I recently made headers for my little small block I'm going to put in there. Now this is my mock-up block that I used to make it, and I don't think I can get the headers out of there. So I'm going to have to maybe work with that. But what I did is I used, it's a little bit larger than 1/16 silver solder. Well, not silver, but I mean solder. And I bent it up, and it took probably, I'd say, a few hours to do all together. I mean, there's a lot of pieces I bent and made that are now garbage, but that's kind of cool on how that turned out. I needed some that were short that's gonna fit up above the frame here, because I want everything tucked in and tight. I don't want exhaust hanging down at all. And let's see, and a motor plate. This is like the fifth, sixth one that I've made. Made them out of aluminum. I covered them with foil. I've done all kinds of stuff, and I kept getting the position of the block wrong. So these little notches right here is what sits on the frame, and that decides how high or low the block is going to be, and I couldn't get it right, couldn't get it to fit right, and that was part of the frustration I was going through. But I finally made one, and it works, and it's looking cool. I may have to drill a couple more holes in it. We'll see. The steering should be able to go through that hole, and then the alternator, I'm kind of trying to come up with something on that, maybe mount it to this or to the cylinder head. I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Had to make a frame jig, and I should have done this from the very beginning, but I guess you kind of got to decide your right height before you can do it. But this will hold my frame solid for me to work on, where it's not going to slip around, and I can hold it and keep it level, and then it's at right height. So when I put my wheels together and finally get them in where I want them to be, it's going to line up perfect, and then I can square up the outside of the wheels here and have them, you know, straight up and down and exactly where they should be. Oop, well, that almost went flying off. That's what I mean. I'm a spaz. It's a gift, I guess. And I've been working on the dash a little bit. Made a yoke for my steering column, made a steering column, and made bezels for the gauges. That's going to be for the ignition key. That's my little button to unlock the glove box, and this little hole over here is going to be for the headlight knob, which I've made all out of aluminum, and I'll probably do a video on how I did that. I'm still trying to come up with a way of making this little T lever that you twist that opens up the bottom of the window. And yeah, this has been kind of crazy. Here's a couple of gauges that I've made. You can see that. Maybe I can zoom in. And probably going to redo them. I used some UV clear resin, and I put a drop in there and did the UV light, and I don't think I did the light long enough. It didn't completely dry like it should have, and I touched it and kind of fogged it up with a fingerprint. This is my steering column, and this little groove down here is what's going to fit in the yoke, and then I'm going to put a turn signal on it, and the rest of it will fit in where for the steering wheel, and for the steering linkage down there. And I may show you, I did a video that I haven't put out yet on how I did my steering knuckles and my steering rod so that I could do it all at an angle and still have it look good. So I'm trying to zoom in on what I'm doing with my steering linkage, and I had to make little knuckles. So this end down here plugs into the steering rack, and then I have a 4mm wire running through it, and that allows me to bend the knuckle. So this knuckle right here will mount, have that wire running through it, and then this one goes into the other knuckle, kind of like that, but you'll be able to have light going through it. I don't know if I can get that without dropping it or making it fall apart without having it all in place where it should be. But that'll allow me to bend the knuckle and work it around to where the steering column comes out of the firewall to the angle that I have for the steering rack. And I basically did it with 8mm aluminum tubing. I just cut it down the middle and then just shaped it with sandpaper, and it's a cool detail and a cool way to get around a problem with not a whole lot of work. It didn't take very long to make them. And of course I made a bunch of them, and I'm just using the best of the ones that I made. They're not all identical, but I'll do some video stuff on that. Hey, I want to thank everyone for watching my videos. So if you would, hit that dirty little like button and wash your finger after. And it's free to subscribe, so you know, why don't you take a freebie? But I want to thank you all, and I have a bunch of videos coming up here. It's getting to be winter time. Fall is definitely in the air, and I will have a lot more time to take care of doing this stuff and actually getting some relaxation in and getting away from all the busy car work and housework and yard work and, you know, life. Not that life won't be any less busy, just, you know, but thank you for watching, and rock on and model on.